ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. آمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم ذكرنا عند الشهادة عند الموت بلا إله إلا الله رب العالمين. May Allah make it easy for all of us, inshallah. How is COVID-19 treating you? Alhamdulillah, we got locked down now. We have curfew after 8. Is that curfew? I don't know. I think like you have to go only for essentials. I don't know what's happening in the US right now. I don't know if there's any curfew. I don't think so, right? Anyways, alhamdulillah, may Allah elevate us from this epidemic, inshallah, and make everything goes back to normal, ya Rabbil Alameen. How is the kids doing at home? I hope you guys are managing well. Having so many kids at home can be so frustrating and stressful, but alhamdulillah, it's all test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we have to appreciate it and act it and be pleased with it, because subhanallah, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us in the hadith, whoever is pleased with Allah's destiny, Allah will please him. And whoever is upset with Allah's destiny, Allah will be upset with him too. So whatever comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to be happy and accept it with open arms, accepting it with a smile, because we believe it's coming from the most wise, right? The most generous and the most gracious, most merciful. Believing in him, loving him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we love everything from him, right? So we have to have that positive attitude in everything we do. I'm not going to tell you this is going to be always easy. It's going to be some challenges, right? Going to have sometimes, we just really get frustrated with our children, or like we're going to have maybe bad days or bad moods. It's fine, right? It's acceptable. But don't make it a lifestyle. That's the most important. Our lifestyle with our children has to be a positive experience, inshallah. So that's something that we should keep in mind, bi'idhnillah. Today, inshallah, we're going to be talking about how we can correct like negative behavior from the children, right? There are so many ways of doing it, and mostly we tend to yell and maybe like say bad things to people in some cases. So we have to be careful of all these negative things, because it can create a negative feeling between us and the children. I can read you something like interesting, like something most of us would do, and how much we can actually damage with this. Let's say the child is in a bank, we are in a bank, and he's put the pencil down. David, come back now. Just sit here. You're making too much noise. David, quiet down. David, I'm warning you. David, if you don't behave, there'll be no treat this afternoon. David! Isn't that something like it's so repeatedly happening in most of our homes, right? And we try to avoid this kind of behavior and think of like something positive. Sometimes it could be like a little bit harder to replace like a negative behavior, negative parenting techniques to a positive ones, but it's absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it, inshallah. Let's start today, inshallah. Let's say, for example, your child is like talking to you in a rude way, okay, and yelling bad words, maybe screaming at you, maybe raising his voice. The first thing that's gonna come to your mind is like, how rude of you, right? Like, you're so rude. That's what's gonna come to your mind. Try to replace it with something else. What do you want him to be? You want him to be respectful, right? So you tell him what you want him to be, not what you don't want him to be. Because you don't want to emphasize the behavior that he's doing. You want to do something that is the positive thing, right? So you're gonna say, Saleh, I don't know, Ali, Umar, whatever his name is, you need to act more respectfully. You need to speak more politely, right? So rude became polite or respectful. So think of the opposite. Don't call him rude, because that's what he gonna become. Like, that's what he gonna believe, and he gonna say that, oh yeah, I'm rude. Okay, now what are you gonna do about it? And he's just gonna believe in that, and he gonna act upon it. We don't want that to happen. We want him to believe that he's actually a good person. Okay, and he's a polite person, so he will act and believe in it and just start acting like that, right? So let's say now we're gonna give you some like synonyms, the opposite, right? If he does say he's being messy, you're gonna say, oh, you need to be more clean, and you need to be like more neat, right? If he's, let's say, for example, loud, you're gonna say you have to be more quiet. So you say the opposite of the word that you would actually like normally say. Okay. If I say he's being careless, you're gonna say, oh, you need to be more careful next time. So I'm saying, so it's trying to encourage the positive behavior, not emphasize the negative behavior. Okay. So that's what we want to try, inshallah, to avoid and to replace in our behavior, inshallah. And this is something also we learned from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said it was a child actually, like he was eating with him, okay, and the child, he's narrating the hadith, okay, and he says my hands were eating from all over the place. You know, like in back in the days, and many of Arab countries, we eat from the same dish, right? So everybody should eat from his side only. But this child didn't know anything like that, so he was eating from all over the place. So the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him, Ya ghulam, okay, oh young boy, Sammillah. Okay, say Bismillah. Okay. وَكُلْ بِيَمِينِك, eat with your right hand, and كُلْ مِمَّا يَلِيك, and eat from what's in front of you. Okay. So now he's taught him three things: to say Bismillah, and to eat with his right hand, and to eat from front of him, right? So his hands shouldn't go in the other people's like side or something like that. But look at this. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did the three directions. You know, eat from front of me. Let's say he could have said it that, but he said it in a positive way. You know, he said it. He said what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to eat with your right hand, say Bismillah, and eat from the front of you. So actually, our religion also encourages that, to reinforce the positive behavior. You don't reinforce the negative behavior. Okay. So make sure, like, inshallah, we follow our sunnah and also directing and parenting, inshallah, because that's the sunnah that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us. How to correct a child is by telling him what he's supposed to do and what we're expecting him to be. Okay, not what you are not expecting him to be. Right? This is very important because we just tend to be like so quick in saying, okay, you know, like, you shouldn't do that, you know, don't do this, don't. We know we are like always like in rush to say this kind of thing, so we have to be careful, inshallah, and replace them with the positive things. Okay. For example, you have a child that he's a no brother. Okay, let's just take some examples. Okay, you need to be kind to your brother. Okay, now the word is kind. This is what you want him to be, right? Kind. Okay, don't do this, stop, yeah, bother them, because it just like it creates tension between you and your child. Okay, so replace them with a positive thing. Now, for example, you have a teenager that he spends so much money. Okay, so what are you going to tell him? You're going to say you need to be more responsible in spending money. Okay, instead of saying you are wasteful, you are not, you are irresponsible, or like all these negative things, you can always say the positive things. Okay, for example, a child, he's like being rude to you. Okay, he's not saying polite words. So instead of like saying you being rude, what are you gonna say? You need to say that more politely. Okay, for example, he said it in a not polite way. You just correct him. Say you need to do that more politely. You need to say that more politely. Okay, so that's something very important. So correcting, the first thing, we're gonna have to use what we want him to do, what way, the positive way of correcting behavior. Okay, now let's go to the next system that we can improve or change a child behavior. We want him to develop a new behavior. Okay, very important way to do that is rewards. Okay, to reward him for what he does. But this, let me tell you, like, there are like correct way of doing it, and there's a wrong way of doing it. Okay, now the best correct way of doing it, there are two methods. Okay, the first one is called clear method. Okay, sorry, the clear method, and the second one is like a chart list. Okay, so let's begin with the reward, with the clear method. The clear method, because the C stands for comments. Okay, so now you see your child, let's say, for example, you are in the same example, waiting in the bank, and the child is like waiting patiently, like maybe he's just got in the bank. You say, oh, mashallah, like, I see that you are waiting patiently. Okay, so now he noticed that this is what he actually wanted him to do. So this is the first thing that you're gonna say, waiting patiently. And then he says, like, for example, that's so patient of you to do. Okay, so you're labeling him. Now you're being patient. Okay, so first you comment, I see that you are standing and waiting patiently, and then you say, that's so patient of you. Label him, tell him that, you know, he's whatever he did is something that's actually making him a patient person. That's what you want him to believe, right? And then that's gonna give him a little bit of a more patient and reward. And then when he's done, you say, you know, that deserves maybe a hug, a candy, like, you know, time to extra time to watch something on TV, whatever it is, any rewards. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be priceless. It can be like simple as like a hug, a kiss, okay, a time, quality time with mom or dad. So any reward of that, just say, oh, this deserves a hug, or this deserves a big kiss from mommy. Okay. So you're just telling him that, you know, whatever he did is right. So now the steps are three. Okay. Number one, you're gonna comment. Say, oh, I see you waiting patiently, right? I recognize that. Second thing, you're gonna say, label him, make him like say, okay, you are a patient person. You're being a patient person. Okay, so now second label. So comment, label, and the third one is the reward. So you're gonna say, oh, I see that deserves a big hug from mommy. This is deserves a big treat today, this afternoon. Any of these kind of things. And remember, don't make it too hard to get. Just make it something easy, accessible for you to get him. Okay, but just like he understand this one. Now, so this is like the first thing I want to mention to you, like. About the steps. Okay, so three things. Now, very important thing that we have to understand the difference between rewarding and bribing. Okay, many families, they tend to bribe their children, which means, okay, if you do this, I'll give you this. That's bribing. We don't want that to happen. Why is that? What's the difference between bribing and rewarding? Rewarding, what we said, when he does the action, you reward him for his good behavior, right? Bribing, you're telling him, do this so I can give you that. Okay, we don't want that. We don't want to encourage this kind of behavior, because the child, he's gonna feel he's in control. He is like in control of like to decide whether he wants to do that or not, and that's makes him also like scary. It's a scary feeling, because a child, believe it or not, he wants to have a boss. He wants to have like an adult, a grown-up person taking care of him. He doesn't want to take care of himself, because that's a scary feeling for him, to feel like he's in charge. So you don't want him to feel this way. You want to make him like, no, you're gonna do what you have to do, and I'm gonna reward you. I'm gonna do whatever I have to do. Okay, so make sure of that. But this is the thing. Sometimes what happened when, let's say, for example, with the same example we said, that we are in the bank and the child was behaving well. Now he understood. We rewarded him for the first time, second time. Say, oh, now I know this. My mom would reward me for that. So maybe you're now walking to the bank. You said, oh, if I would wait patiently, would you actually give me like a candy today? Okay, so now the mother has to stop or reject that. Say, no, you don't do that. You don't do that for a reward. You just do it. You just do what you have to do. Be careful not to fall in that game, because he might actually try to push you to that game and say, okay, you know what, mommy, you've done it twice. Now, what about now? Are you going to pay me? You're going to do that. So you don't want to do that. You know, you do whatever you have to do, and I'll do what I have to do. Okay, don't fall into that game and accept it, because then it's just going to be like a chain of like bribing all the time, right? So you don't want to do that. So that's something that, you know, I have to understand the difference between bribing and rewarding. Rewarding is acceptable because it's the action is already done. You've done the right thing. Okay, but the bribing is actually putting him under condition. Okay, if you do this, I will give you this. You don't want that. Okay, so make sure of this, inshallah. And what else also I want to say, now some people would say, but this is too much, like, you know, like you're gonna try to improve this and reward the child, you know, for behavior like this, and then there's a system of doing it, right? Like you're gonna have to do it for the first time repeatedly, and then you're gonna have to do it every 2 times, every 3 times, and then eventually you're gonna have to remove the reward and keep only the comments. Okay, and the labeling. So it's like it's a lot of like process to go through. So some people would say, but this is too much. Like, why would have to do all this to teach a child only one positive behavior? Now tell me what's the alternatives. Okay, what is the alternatives? Is that David conversation? David, David, and this is like yelling and nagging at the child and making him like feel always threatened and hated, right? So this kind of behavior that which many of us tend to act, okay, it has disadvantages. Okay, many disadvantages, and we can just mention three of them only. Number one, the child actually gonna hate his name because every time you say his name, you are always upset and angry. Okay, you are agitated. So just like you start hating his name, and his name represents him too as a self person, right? And he can hate, having a bad self-image about himself. So be careful of that. Try to avoid anything that's gonna make him feel like he hates himself, because how many times people will have to say something negative to him, right? So avoid that. This is the first negative thing can happen. The second thing that's gonna happen, you're actually reinforcing the bad behavior. Okay, every time you're sending this, like actually you are rewarding him, like telling him like, no, yeah, you got mommy's attention. We don't want to do that. You want him to get the attention through good behavior, not bad behavior. Very, very important. Sometimes kids are very tricky actually. Like they have all day to plan against us, right? Sorry. What happens sometimes is like he knows how to get his mother, like have her attention. Have his mother attention. Whether it's positive or negative, he gonna get her attention. He wants her attention. So get him used to get your attention through positive things, not negative things. Okay, so make sure of that, because they know very well. They're very smart, mashallah, tabarakallah. And like I said, they have the whole day to plan against us. Believe me, we don't have the time. We are so busy. We are occupied maybe with other children, with house chores and husband and all that. Like it's just so many things to handle. But for them, mashallah, they have lots of time to plan against us. So be careful of that, inshallah. So that's something that you don't want to reinforce. So said the first negative thing about it is like the child might actually hate his name because you keep repeating it with anger and attitude, and you are agitated. And hating his name is gonna make him hate his own self too. He's gonna see himself as a bad person. Okay. Second negative thing about this kind of behavior, like agitated and just yelling at the child, basically that reinforcing the bad behavior, which we don't want, right? That's something really important. And the third thing, the child might dislike you, and you might actually end up disliking the child, because this child is always not cooperating with you. He's not always giving. He's not being an easy child with you. So you're gonna get on your nerves basically, and you're gonna get on his nerve, and you're gonna lose that warm relationship between you and him, right? And you don't want to do that. Nothing worth like losing relationship between you and him, especially as a child. Subhanallah, you want to be like alliance with him. You want to be to show him always that you are in his side. Because let me tell you this: once, let's say, the child reach teenage years, he's already like gonna disconnect with you somehow, because he's just gonna feel like he's grown up now. He doesn't need your help. He doesn't need any of your education or instruction, anything. He doesn't need anything from you. So it's gonna come time that he's gonna be disconnected with you at some point. But you don't want to do that when he's a child, because you need there to discipline him. You need to show him the way. You don't want to lose him that time. This is the golden years for you. So if you lose that, you're losing a lot. Okay, you have to be careful of this. And then as a teenager, for sure you're gonna lose him, because now he was like not having good relationship with you when he's a child. So why would he actually come to you now? There's no not even one reason to make him like come back to you. So make sure like you don't lose that relationship whatsoever under any circumstances. Okay, so take it step by step, inshallah, and this harmonious and peaceful way, inshallah. That's what we always talk about: peaceful parenting, inshallah. So let's just wrap up this method, the reward system. Okay, now you want the child to do something like let's say clean up his room, or be kind to his siblings, all the kind of like thing that we want to teach our children. Okay, so whenever you see him doing the right thing, catch him at that time and say comments. Say, I see that you're doing this. I see you being kind to your brother. Okay, that's comments. And then the second one, labeling him. Say, you are such a kind brother. Okay, you label him, the saying that you are doing this. The third one, rewarding him for what you've done. And the rewards doesn't have to be like money or like expensive things. Can be just as simple as hug as a reward, you know. And then once he like you do that repeatedly, okay, for a while, and then you start doing it every other time, okay, and then every third time you're doing it. That is the chart list, okay. So you make a chart of actions that you want him to do, and let's say we can be the same thing. It can be like how do you call it, negative if you use them so much. Like for in the whole entire year, you should do like once or twice a new behavior. Like has to get paid for everything good that he does. You don't want that, okay. So you just want to train him for a while, and that's it. Cut it off, that chart. Okay, the ideal time to develop a new behavior, new techniques, or new behavior, that's the right way, is 5 to 6 weeks. Okay, so now every chart has to have one goal, one theme. Let's say, for example, now if you stick to the goal of cleaning the room, okay, now the cleaning in the room, it's a big task. You don't want to do it like okay, if you clean the room today, I'm going to get you this. Let's go slowly from like simpler tasks to harder tasks. Okay, so now let's, for example, the first task will be every day I expect you to pick up all the things from the floor. Okay, and you're gonna get a sticker for every day. Now you're gonna have to give him a slack for 2 days, 1 day, 2 days a week. It's fine. So let's say now 7 days a week. If he does it 5 times a week, he still get the reward or the prize at the end of the week, even though he didn't do it 7 days. Give him a slack, okay? Because sometimes he would be not a good mood. Maybe he didn't get up like early, this and that. Give a chance. Give him a little bit of a place of like mistakes, okay? So if you did it 5 times a week, okay, he get a reward or prize at the end of the week. Okay, so that's something really important to see it. So stickers the whole week, and then the end of the week a prize. Okay, whatever it is, the prize. Now the second week, let's say now he managed to do that for 1 week. He did very well. He got his prize. Now let's make it harder this time. Okay, it's gonna be like, okay, now pick up all the things from the floor and put the clothes away. So these two things, right? So now the reward sticker, and then again 5 days a week is fine. If he accomplished 5 days a week, he can get his prize. This prize has to be a little bit hard, a little bit more valuable, okay, than the first one, because the tasks are easier, right? You have smaller like prize. Gets harder, bigger prize a little bit, okay. So that's how it is. Now second thing we did like second week, let's say 2 tasks basically. The third week, the goal will be like what? Now we're gonna have to pick up everything from the floor, and then put the clothes away, make your bed. So now 3 things, okay? And of course the price will be better, more. This way, like slowly, he will get him to be able to clean the entire room by himself. Okay, so it's a slowly, one by one, step by step method, and it's less stressful. So what if the child like didn't do it? Don't nag, because that's what we're trying to replace, those nagging techniques that we have already with those positive ones. So don't nag. Okay, just he knows that he lost a sticker. Okay, and then next day, just if he did it, just make a sticker like that. The end of the week, calculate it. He didn't do it, he doesn't get the prize. So he knows that. So he's gonna look forward to it to do it. Okay, slowly until he reach to be able to do the whole entire room, and he will surprise you, inshallah. This way is less stressful for you and less stressful for him. No nagging. No one is like having hard time. No one is like having high blood pressure. Inshallah, everything is like smoothly and easily. Everything is just rewarded, and then by the end of the week, by the end of this like 5, 6 weeks, he knows how to do that by himself. Now there's another method. Let's say, for example, if it's only one task of one behavior, let's say I want him to be kind to his brothers because he keeps hitting his brother. Okay, now we're gonna do it maybe with time. Now see, like he keeps, let's say, hitting him every second. This child, he's bothering him. Now say, okay, this week our goal is like to reach 10 minutes without hitting. That's it, 10 minutes only. Okay, so if you do it 10 minutes every day, you get sticker, and then by the end of the week, you get a prize. Now he managed to do it for 10 minutes. Next week is gonna be like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, like that. It's gonna be a little bit more. And the same way, like this time we're gonna do it with time, not with different thing, because now it's only one goal, right? The goal is like just like not to hit his brother. So go with the time, slowly, from 10 minutes, let's say. If let's say 10 minutes you think is too much for him, don't make it 10 minutes. If you think your child only can stay away from his brother like 5 minutes, do it 5 minutes. Whatever you think he's gonna manage, do it, because he has to feel like he's succeeding in this. If he feels like he's failing on this, he's gonna just lose hope and he will not be cooperative. So it's gonna have to be achievable goal. Okay, so you see for your child, how long you're gonna be actually able to stay away from his brother. It's like either 10 minutes, sure, make it 10 minutes, the start of the chart. If not, then make it less. Okay, until like you feel like he can actually achieve that goal easily. So just consistency, like one whole week, sticker for every day, and then by the end of the week he has a prize, inshallah. And then next week we increase the time, and then third week we increase the time. 4, 5, 6 weeks, we basically develop a new habit, inshallah, new habit for our children, without being upset, without getting like losing their warm relationship with them. Everything, inshallah, smoothly, everything going like peacefully between us, inshallah. And inshallah we get them to be trained for new behavior and new habits, inshallah. This is what I have for you today, inshallah. I hope you guys enjoy this. Yeah, I did I forget anything? I think I did everything. So inshallah, hopefully this episode was helpful for you, inshallah. They were very practical, inshallah. Hopefully you find them like helpful for you, inshallah, and try apply them and tell me what did you learn, what did you get out of them, inshallah. Maybe in 5, 6 weeks, did you see a good? Hope all the best for you and your children with Allah, and have a peaceful evening, a peaceful parenting, peaceful families, inshallah. And always make dua for them, because wallahi al-azim, nothing will calm our children more than dua. There's a beautiful dua in the Surah Al-Mu'minun. Yes, Surah Al-Mu'minun, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught us. He says the muttaqeen, the people that they scare of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they have a certain like habits, certain like behavior. One of them, they say this dua: ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. Oh Allah, oh our Rabb, give us from make our children and our spouses the coolness to our eyes. The coolness to our eyes, because it make them please us. We don't know how our children can be pleasing for Allah knows. So just make it like general. Don't specify, okay, make my child do this or do that or do. You don't know. You don't know which behavior is actually going to make us really happy and proud of them. So ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala generally to make them like mean for us to be happy and have coolness of our eyes, inshallah, and make us the leaders of Muslims, inshallah. This is a beautiful dua in Surah Al-Mu'minun. I hope you guys also try to say it often, inshallah. Every single day I say it, wallahi, in the morning, in the evening, because no matter how much we learn about parenting, we still need the tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah guide us all and take care of our children and our family. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.